And welcome everyone to another exciting adventure of the energy that surrounds us. I'm your host, Michael, and tonight, as a guest, I am so grateful to have on this show. And we have history of, I've been on her shows many a times, and we have many fascinating conversations. And so I am so blessed and so honored that she was able to come on tonight for a second appearance on my shows. First time on this show, so I am super excited. And I know you all are in for a treat because we've already been kind of setting up in the background some interesting topics to go over. And so I am going to turn it over to my amazing guest to kind of introduce herself to this audience. And so, without further ado,
Oh.
wow, that's the first time I ever said that on a show. I give you the one, the only Molly Faith Kleitsch.
Thank you, Michael. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. I am so honored and so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Well, first time here, but having me again on your shows. Um, I'm Molly, and Michael is my dear friend who I'm very grateful for. Um, I am a spiritist, um, which is one of the things that I do. It's almost like a what people would call like a mystic medium, and I work closely with my ancestors who I've been working with for a very, very long time, elevating. People talk about that elevation of the ancestors because they're concerned that they're stuck, and that is very true. Sometimes we have, stuck spirits that need that elevation. So I've been working with my ancestors, elevating them for, gosh, I don't even know how long. I love it. I work so closely with the Most High God, the divine, my guardian angels. We have so many guides around us. So I do that. And then also I utilize I want to say gifts because it is really a gift, to help other people in the best ways I can with their healing, empowerment, their own spiritual development for their particular path. But I'm really just trying to share love with this world because it's needed, and not fear of the things that maybe are unknown or have been hidden or they don't understand. So any way that I can help people, I love doing that. So that's who I am. And I'm an owner of a company that I started with my son, Crossroads Meets the Ocean LLC. And I also have a YouTube channel, Crossroads Meets the Ocean Rose. So.
And you have another one.
Oh, and Walk with Faith Healing, where Michael has been on my show several times for the podcast, which has been awesome. And I also do on that channel, we do quantum healing frequencies, which are really beneficial for people. Yes, I do. Thank you, Michael, for that. So,
I got your back, no worries.
thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, one thing I want to kind of start tonight's show off with is a little bit different than I would normally would with guests, and that is I want to start off with a question to you of both of us have gone through the crucible, have gone through the fires, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that was a necessary part of the journey to unfold where we are today and to make it so we can relate to people better? Or how do you describe the impact of the crucible to you?
That's very interesting. I think it's a combination of things, really. I do think it is a really important part of the journey because, well, it can do a couple things to people. Either they can become a result or an aftermath, right, of their circumstances, or they can come out of it and choose something different. For me in particular, I feel like it was really important to go through. Um, so, yeah, I could relate to all different types of individuals. Um, and also, he, I don't know if everybody's going to agree with this word, but when you go through that and everything has been destroyed and taken away, you really do break and you become very bare, humble as well. And you realize, first of all, that you're not alone and that there is something greater than you. There are things greater than you that will help you get back up. It really makes you believe in the unseen of because everything's gone or you've been heartbroken and everything you thought was real has been stripped away. So what else do you have? You have your own spirit and you have things that you can't see that you have to turn faith, belief in your grasping. And you're like, please help me. There are things greater than us. And it really does show you that they're there. But then on top of it, it teaches you the power of what's within you and what you're truly capable of. And it clears away all the noise, all the distraction, all what's not real. And then on top of it, you can take that and you can enlighten people and you can relate to people. You're like, oh my gosh, I understand that. I've been there. I know how to get through it. Let me help you. My light just flickered. Did you see that?
I did.
It's beautiful. Sometimes that journey is very necessary. Then it also teaches you a lot of important lessons of why we come here, boundaries, what we're going to tolerate, what we're not going to tolerate. Oh my gosh. I hear you. Okay. We're like, yes, Molly, go, go. Um, and how to really love ourselves so much and love other people and also relate to the pain that they've gone through and help restore that in their life. So yeah, I do feel like it's necessary, at least for some of us who have chosen to experience the crucible, as you would call it, on this
You
journey.
know, and I love how you describe being taken down to the point of actually being broken because it's true. And one of the aspects that I've always used to describe it is that adage, we rose from the ashes like the phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the key phrase there is from the ashes.
Precious.
So you have to be broken to rise back up at that level. And I'm not saying that, people who have rose that didn't go to a breaking point aren't doing it right. I just mean to be at the level to where you are freed of constraints of
Mhm.
what people think or
Huge,
free of
huge.
judging yourself and others and freed of worrying about how people are going to take what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're talking about. We rise from because I mean, and I say we because Molly and I have talked about this, and we're like, are you sure I landed that statement right? Or are you sure I just said that right? And we're like, you said it exactly as you needed to. It lands or it doesn't. And we remind each other of that. And that's the beautiful gift along the journey is, when you find people who have done the crucible work. And, another word for crucible could be dark night. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, depending on how deep you went into it. But yeah, and I know you were not prepared for that question because
I'm
I was
ready.
like,
That's
last
okay.
second, I was like, why are you telling me the word crucible? And I was like, oh, got it. Yeah, we'll start
Yeah.
with that.
No, it's so true. Because this is something I've expressed to my son too. And even Puppy Moon, because even Puppy has an abandonment wound. What we tend to do is, whether it comes through from our ancestors or like it's passed down to us, or something that we've experienced it ourselves in this life or other lifetimes that we've brought in, um, is abandoning ourselves and wanting to overgive and people please. And the fear of if we don't say something right or we're not perfect, perfectionism, right? People pleasing, that people are going to judge us or not like us. That came through in a reading for me one time with one of my guides. And they said, Molly, people are going to come and go in your life. And you have to love yourself so much that you are not going to abandon yourself, because it does not matter if you're perfect, if you're not perfect, if your house is clean, if your house is messy, if you, they're still not going to like you or they're going to love you. Your people are going to be your people. You have to be you. And this came through many years ago, but it's true. We have to work on the things within ourselves of why we would abandon who we truly are at our essence to try and overgive and people please. Release that fear, because the right people are going to love us and they're not going to be offended with like what you said. Did I say the right thing? Yeah, you absolutely did, because that was meant to be said at that moment, that felt true to you, and you let it out. And the right people are going to be accepting of that. You know, I'm very different, Michael. And you met me many, many years ago. I am so different, you know? And
Wow.
yeah, I know, I am, but I'm who I
Oh
am.
my.
Yeah. But we are who we are, and we do the best we can, and we have love in our heart, and but we're real. And it could
Yeah.
be triggering for some, but um you know, being different is who we are supposed to be. We're all beautiful. I'm like getting a vision of like a rainbow unicorn for some reason, you know?
I totally get it. And I was actually talking to someone and I said, we have such history that I remember on one of the first shows I was on, I made a comment and you were like, "Oh my god, we have to edit that out." What were
Oh
you
my gosh.
thinking? And I was like, I don't know why it came out, but it did. But yeah, yeah, let's edit that out.
That was a
And then
long
it
time
was
ago.
like a couple of years later, and a few, or in our terms, a few episodes later, you used the same thing on me, and I was like,
Did I?
oh,
I don't
oh,
remember.
so now we're on the page of saying that now. Okay,
Don't remember.
okay. And
See?
so
Oh
it's
my
funny
God.
how it goes round robin sometimes.
I don't
Uh,
remember.
I mean,
Oh,
it wasn't in the direct like verbiage
oh,
like per se, but the intent was there, and I was
oh.
like, and I picked up on it, and I was like, and I had a stunned little look on my face because I was like, oh, I thought we weren't going there. Apparently, we're going there now. Okay,
Are you
let me
talking
get
about
along for the
handlers?
ride.
Are we talking about handlers? What are we talking?
No, no, this was well, we were talking about society and
Oh,
the roles that
right.
the
Mm-hmm.
world that we're living in.
Mm.
So yeah, and just so you all know, this is actually how we talk. This is not a special thing for you guys. This is really our conversations.
Yeah.
Really, we just we'll
Mm-hmm.
pick a topic and we'll just go back and forth on it. And one of the things that I find interesting too is not only are you doing work with clients, you have your prayer work,
Oh, big time.
you are taking care of yourself now.
I am. I take
You
very good care of myself.
also do a clothing line, you have jewelry, you have sage bundles now. I'm like, you are like a one stop shop for anything you need to help clear the energy or help grow. And I've loved watching how you started with just one thing and now it's like you have this plethora of things.
We're
And
growing. I
yeah,
can't wait. I love it.
it's like every once in a while I'll open up and your page will pop up and I'll be looking at something and I'll be like going, why is she selling that? And then I'll look at it again and I'll be like, oh, like the sage bundle. When I first looked at it, I was like, why she got a bundle of grass? And I was like, oh wait, that's not grass, that's sage. That's a lot of sage actually.
Do you
And I was
know
like, who posted this? Oh, Molly. Oh yeah, I get it now. Sage bundle.
everything is intentional too? Like
Yeah.
every single, because what we've done, so we started with nothing, and everything that we would get, we would put into the business. And I'm like, well, what can we get? Because we've never had an investor, we've never had anything like that. Everything's just been like bit by bit. So it's like, what can I get that would be beneficial for people that I really believe in, that I know works because I've used it? And so bit by bit, we've grown it. And so that's why you'll notice like we continue to grow baby steps, but every single thing is with intention. And now I'm making my own oils, which are freaking amazing. I'm using them too. And Ryan's like, my kid, he's like, Mom, you need to create a grimoire. I said, I'm planning on it. So I'm starting to write down all my recipes. Um, so that way I can pass them on, because my old
Yeah.
godmother, she had that. She had her own recipe book. But I'm making like, um, I'm going to teach people how to make natural cleansing essences, like how to actually, because there's many different ways you can alchemize and create that energy and create it with beautiful Mama Earth. Oh my gosh. So I'm like creating those too. And natural Florida water, you can make your own cascarilla. And I mean, I just want to teach people how to do that. And so I have an offering on my website to where I can teach people, or give them their own tools and then go through it with them. So I'm going to be expanding, but everything is intentional to try and empower people so that way they can utilize it. And it's very healing, very healing. We can heal from the earth. We can heal from prayer. I'm a big prayer warrior. I firmly believe in it. And I can see the transformation that occurs when you do prayer, when you do your prayer. It's a combination. When you meditate, when you stay cleansed and clear, and also your intentions, your mind, your emotions. If people understood how powerful you can shift things like that, believe it or not. I've seen it. So I love being able to help people. And yes, you're wearing my shirt, by the way. Let's circle back to Michael. You're wearing it. And that's the original. We have the
Yeah.
originals.
I know. And come the winter time, I'll be modeling the long sleeve original.
Modeling. Yep. I know. Thank
But,
you.
and that's one thing I will say is, with your products and everything, you have so much love and intention behind it that even I remember when we first started talking and you would say the word prayer and I'd be like, yeah, I'd have some resistance to it
Mhm.
because I was like, that's not my thing. I'm not into that churchy thing. But then as we were talking about it and everything, to where now I actually will say to people, yeah, sending you prayers, because it's like I have a different mindset of it. It's you kind of working with you has opened my eyes that yeah, I don't need to not do something because of the way it's done here
Right.
and do it this way. It's the same thing and it's better. And I'm like, yeah, and I've noticed difference. And I will say also, I know this can sound strange to other people, but like when I put on this shirt, knowing, it's came from her and it's got her logo on the back,
No. Thank
that I'm like my energy levels just kind of got a boost, and
you.
it's like my mood went from okay, we're gonna do a show to oh, we're gonna do a show with Molly. It's like there was
Aw.
just I got caught up in the emotion of it, and yes, it's been washed quite a few times, but it's still there because it's energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Mm-hmm.
like there's nothing sewn into it. It's just the energy to it. And so that's amazing. And one thing I kind of hinted to her that I was going to bring up through the show right as we were starting, so I never got to tell her what it was. But she was talking about something, and I was like, I got you. I got the perfect way to segue to this. And here it is, Molly. As many of you know, I recently lost my mother, and a lot of people ask me, how are you so together? How are you so strong and not this disaster of emotions? And the reason I can share with you all is having a metaphysical background,
Mm-hmm.
death is different for me. And I don't mean that's like the act of the death is different, it's the perception. So for me, what I have lost is the physicality with my
Mm-hmm.
mother and my father because he passed in 2023. And so I don't have the physicality of walking up and hugging them or walking up and seeing them and getting, a facial reaction to something I had said or a conversation. That is what I'm mourning. And it comes and goes in waves, but I'm not mourning the loss of my mom and dad because they're an energy form now.
Mm-hmm.
So I can still feel them, I can still hear them. And so that is how I'm able to deal with death as I have been, and the strength that I draw from it because I know they're not gone. There isn't a
They're not gone.
finality. They're on the next level and still communicating. So it's like, yeah, all I've lost is that physicality. That's what I'm mourning.
Right. That's really hard too, is to, like, when I lost my father, he was 57 and my son was 4. And I didn't understand at that time because I hadn't gone through everything that I had gone through, and the experiences, and gone through like all the dark night of the souls. But I mourned my dad for a very, very long time. When my mother passed, though, I looked at it completely different. And really, yes, because energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It, right, just transferred from
Right.
one to another. It's here. It's here, and they make themselves very, very known. So, like we were talking about elevation of our ancestors, elevate, we pray for their elevation, for them to go to God, and that's really big on prayer. Um, yeah, I know you in prayer. I know I'm so big on it, but it's so true. You can elevate your ancestors. You can pray for their elevation and empower them and for their positive progress. You will sense a difference. And so when you understand that they are with us and then they start to make themselves very, very known in all these beautiful, energetic ways, it's like, oh my gosh, they're just not here in this avatar form, which when we leave, where's our energy going to go? It's just not going to be in this form, right?
Right.
So yeah, I think that's really beautiful that you see it in a different way, which some people don't understand. They think once they're gone, they're gone. They're not. Um, so this is a really cool story. Okay, I'm just going to tell you guys real quick. On my birthday, which was April 23rd, um, a couple months prior, I noticed that Stevie Nicks was going to be playing in Austin. And I am a huge hermit. I stay in my home, I work, I love my peace, I'm protective of my energy. But I thought, oh my gosh, if I'm going to do something for my birthday, I'm going to take myself on a date and I'm going to go see Stevie Nicks. So magical. She is something else. Like, I have never, whew, it was so beautiful. But before I left, I said, my parents are going to be with me there, my dad, my mom. And I spoke with them before and I said my prayers. And I was a little nervous. I took Uber there and, then took the cool little, like, they biked me there. It was so cool. Um, but when I go, I didn't know that she was going to play tribute and throughout the entire concert to Tom Petty. Tom Petty was one of my dad's favorite artists. And oh my gosh, I felt him there with me. And then she played Free Fall and had pictures of him. That was my dad's favorite song. I'm sitting there videotaping, like shaking, like going, oh my God, like trying not to cry. It was so emotional, so transformative. And I go, I cannot believe, like, you're literally like right here with me. It was so beautiful. They made themselves very known. I didn't know that was going to happen, but it was incredible. They're going to make themselves known in so many different ways. Like, I just talked to my brother. He's like, I just had a dream about dad. We were walking down our old street where we grew up. I've been seeing, grandma's birthday everywhere. And it's like, he's not even as spiritual, but he's getting all these hits and epiphanies and dreams. And I'm like, yes, they will come through. They're with us. Wow. Yeah.
Most definitely. And I kind of knew about the concert because you had taken time on the drive up while you were in the Uber to kind of talk to me about some stuff and
Yeah.
help me through some stuff. And so, yeah, and so I knew you were going there. And then I saw the video and I was like, that was so awesome. I could see what was going on without seeing you. I was like, nope. I see what's going on with her. Yep. This is a cool moment. I know what this moment is. And
Yeah.
it was one of those rare treats where I was awake, but I still was able to go into spirit form and look at something. And I was like, that
You
was
astral
so
project.
cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because I was like, why is she posting a video? She doesn't, I was like, that was out of character because you normally don't post like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, is everything okay? And then I was like, I'm watching this beautiful moment unfold, and I was like, that is so cool. I'm so glad I got to see that and like come back and be like, it was nothing, but it's not like I don't mean it was nothing. It was so the story is I check on her when I feel like she's in danger or something is lurking or something's off energetically. So I'm like
And clarify.
going to make sure she's okay.
So
And
you astral project just to check
yeah,
the energy. Yeah.
and so when I say it was nothing, it was like she was safe and everything, and in this beautiful moment. And so I was like, yeah, I don't need to be here. I don't need to protect. And so it's like I backed off slowly and
Yeah.
was like, it's okay. She's okay.
Yeah.
The energy is off, but it's not for
Because
the
I was
reason of
emotional.
normal.
I was so emotional. I, it was like the gates opened. I'm normally, especially as a Taurus, I'm so grounded, so level. Oh, it just was like, phew.
Yeah, and I remember too, we as we talk through the years, I've always had this ability to go and check on people
Mhm.
on the astral plane to see what's going on, what's their, what's bugging them or what's messing with them. Is there something I can do? And I remember one day talking with Molly about this, and I said, by the way, did you have a rough night the other night? And she's like, yeah. Why? I said, yeah, I noticed something and I went to do something, but then I was stopped. But then I was like, I found a workaround, so I still was able to help. And she's like, oh, well, thank you for doing that. And yeah, thank you for checking on me. And she's like, my team is really good and we got this. And I was like, yeah, I know. I kind of like abruptly met your team. It was like stopped, and then I was like, no, I'm here for a reason.
They're
So
coming through right now.
you guys, I'll help you guys, but I'm not going to take over. And so it's like it was a different reaction. And I remember your reaction was like, all of a sudden I hear this gasp on the phone, and she's like, oh, and I'm like, what did I just do?
That's so
And
funny.
so it, yeah, and we talked about it and got validation both sides of what was
Right.
going on, and it was a beautiful moment. And it's one of those moments that I always cherish of being able to go, and you can say I help people and you check on people, but
Hi,
not
Jason.
everybody always is in tune with the energy so much. And
I just saw
that's
him
what I
card.
love about when I talk with Molly is we both have different backgrounds. Like I know she would not call herself metaphysical. I do, but yet we talk
I
about
do.
energy and it's like yeah, we get on that conversation. It's like we're both on the same page, even though we have different origin stories and different
Mm-hmm.
views. We still
Mm-hmm.
find common ground, and that's what's amazing. And I think that's
Yeah.
what's needed in the world is people to stop judging everything based on it has to fit this criteria or that criteria. You have to be this. You have to be that,
Because that's
and
human.
realize we all are believing the same thing. We're just calling it different titles. And
Mhm.
if we realize that, how much different would the world be?
Right.
And I also, I was like, I remember going to her place one time to do a live show, and I was the nervous one. And I was like, are we sure we're doing this? Are we
Walking into my
what we want to
sanctuary.
do?
Do-do-do-dum.
Because I mean, I'm used to on screen, and she was like, "Yeah, we love on screen, but you're so close. Let's try this." And I'm like, "Okay." And you were like so calm and everything, and I was just like, "Wow." I'm like, "How are you so calm doing this? Because this is so different being in person." And it was so strange to me being opposite role of being in the shoes of the guest, but being the nervous guest. Because even when I was a guest on her show, I would be the one that would say to her, "Don't worry, we got this. I got you.
Mhm.
This would be a great episode."
Yeah. I think it's so I'm going to circle back. I think it's really cool what you said because my team, they're really funny because they will not, if people try to come into my energy, it's a big no. And so I've given permission to you. Like I've sat down with my team and they can hear. I mean, obviously they can hear, what's going on. I'm like talking about you and your name and they know you're here to help. And so they will let that through. And so, I think that's really, really cool because they're so protective. And I'm grateful for that because they've helped me so much from individuals who didn't mean the best and they know your heart and they know that you mean well and we're on each other's team. um and being metaphysical for me, I feel like I'm just this really beautiful combination. I do really believe in the metaphysical and what I do is metaphysical, but I also am very godly and faithful in that way. Not church, because I believe church is here and church is everywhere. So for me, it's just a mixture of utilizing everything that has come from Source, our wonderful divine Source creator. And I incorporate that in everything, but I don't judge. I don't believe in judgment. I don't believe in separation. I don't believe in just because someone has this religion or practices this way, that's wrong. No, I believe that we can incorporate everything. And if our intention is good, if our intention is pure, that's what it's about, because so many things are based on fear and lack of knowledge and judgment of what man has said is right or wrong. Well, that's something that we need to break away from, because people only have bits and pieces of the knowledge. And if we could all come together, then we would see, and we would see the energy. We would feel the energy. We would know that we're on the same page, and we're aiming for the same goal. We believe in the same thing, and we're all trying to do the same thing, which is elevate the collective and elevate our own spirits and bring unity and love, and heal each other. Like, we want the world to heal. So, but and now I'm missing that last part that I was going to go back to with you. Oh, when you came to my house, yeah, I'm very chill. I'm very I can be intense too, but I'm very chill. And the reason why I'm like that is because I really do have faith and I really do trust. Because we going back to the crucible or the dark nights and all of that, I had no other way. I had to surrender and trust. And so that's why I'm like, well, really, everything is working out for my highest and greatest good. I know this is for a purpose. And either way, it's going to work out. So we got this, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, yeah, and I think a part of it too for me was the nerves of when you meet someone in person, they're not always the way they are on screen or that persona. And so I was like, I think I was partly nervous of,
She's going to be opposite. No.
is she gonna like open the door and be like, oh wait, hold on, never mind, changed my
No.
the team says no, the energy's off, it's not what we thought, and I'd be like, oh crap, or what, what's gonna happen. And so I think part of me was a little bit nervous of opening up and being the vulnerable that I get with you and going, it's one thing on when there's a screen protecting.
Right.
It's another when you're sitting right next to someone and going, yes, okay, we're going to talk about this topic and we're going to get vulnerable about it and hit on things that may or may not be stuff that should be on the airwaves, so to speak, because of what's going on. And it's like, oh, I'll do it. And I remember too, the funny thing we were talking about on the last show was I have the memory of you talking about being afraid of dolphins. And so I would
I'm not afraid of
jokingly put in our
but
text code a
stuff.
dolphin and being like, waiting for a reaction. And I'm like, it never came. And finally said something. And she's like, no, why would you ever think that? And I said, because of this
I'm
comment
not really
in the
afraid of
conversation. And you're like, oh, yeah, no, that's not really,
really
I'm
afraid
not
of
that. And I was like, good to know.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not afraid of them. But there's been some interesting stuff coming out about dolphins, though. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to do more research to see if, but I don't really feel like there's anything to fear. Okay, so danger is very real, but fear is a choice. And if
Right.
we really have faith and we trust, then we're not going to be fearful. It's going to be the experience. Plus, if we operate in fear, we're going to bring in fear. That's what we're going to call in. So no, we can't do that. So I'm just curious about dolphins.
Well, I was talking with some beans on a channeling one day, and and it was dolphin energy that was coming through these beans that were coming through. And I said, I heard this story about the origin of the dolphin on the planet, and is it true? And their answer was basically, yes, it's true, but it's also just a piece of the origin story. And
Exactly.
what it is for those of you who may be curious to know what that piece is I went to Hawaii and talked with some of the natives there and was like, what are dolphins, because they're these playful animals, right? And they said, yes, but they're not animals. I was like, what? And they go, so back when, before Hawaii was Hawaii, the people had to travel to the islands and they didn't have boats.
Mm-hmm.
And so a rainbow was created. So they were walking on this rainbow through this rainbow bridge, and kids being kids running around. Well, some of them fell off the rainbow and fell in the ocean. And with the currents and everything, they were like, oh my God, Pele and the gods, please don't let our kids die.
Right.
We're so sorry that they fell off, and we're being so playful and irresponsible and falling off. And the gods turned to him and said, oh, have no fear, because we're going to contain their playful energy into a new form, and hence the dolphins were born.
Wow.
And they say that's why their nature is so playful, is they're the little kids that fell off of the Rainbow Bridge during relocation. And I was like, I love that story.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, that's a beautiful story.
Yeah, so just goes to show, when you go to Hawaii, you got to ask the right questions.
I love Hawaii. That's like a second home for me. I haven't been in a long time, but um, I absolutely love it. My parents, as a child, took me there often. My dad was a surfer, and he would surf North Shore. And I have a lot of respect for the islands. It's just so healing. Just the energy there is incredible. I can't wait to go back when I can. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's magical.
it is, and I can say I have experienced the magic firsthand because I had a experience with the magic there in Maui in the bay,
Yeah.
and we've
Hmm.
talked about this, and it's like, wow, and I'm going to selfishly say if you want to know that story, either go and listen to the episodes or check out my book because it's in my books. So,
It's not selfish. Absolutely. Yeah.
well, maybe selfish was the wrong word. Shameless is what I usually say, a shameless plug.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
But so, how does, I want to piggyback because we've been touching on the crucible a lot tonight and everything, and going, and how was your aha moment of being in the crucible at the darkest or most broken point, and you turn around and say, now's the time to rise?
Puppy Moon is snoring right now. So if you guys hear snoring, she's snoring. Um, for me personally, it took quite a bit for me to like have that aha moment. Um, Even I'm just going to tell people like, so I was in a really bad car accident in 2013, and I was at a stoplight, and I was turned talking to my son. He was really little at the time. Well, not really little, but little. And I remember I was completely stopped and I was turned, and someone was under the influence, and I was about to make a U-turn to go home, and they full on rear ended, and it destroyed um, my my entire spine, my C3 all the way down to my SI joint, affected my feet, the nerves in my feet, my hands. Like I could barely walk. Um, and so I suffered, and that was devastating for me because I was no longer the same as I once was. And I suffered for a very long time. And over that period of time, I was able to see. That was not the aha moment though, but things transitioned or started to happen to where I was able to see like, okay, well, this relationship isn't working out for me because it just was getting worse and worse because I couldn't be that perfect um, trophy wife any longer. Or, it was like certain things would occur. But what really shifted for me was when I was, and I thank this person for this because this was really a part of another piece of the catalyst moment. I've already forgiven this person, even though there's no contact, because that's for the best. Because there's one thing to detach from people, and there's another thing because we want to come together and heal, right? But it's another thing to be in an abusive situation. I was in a relationship where my I had completely abandoned myself, lost who I was, and I was definitely destructive, and I was over giving to a situation that was really poisonous. And what ended up happening to me is I became very sick in many ways, to where I was losing my hair. And I hope this is not going to get too graphic, but I mean, I was like throwing up blood. I had tremors. I couldn't eat. I was like on my deathbed. I couldn't believe, and I was having like endoscopies, colonoscopies. I was losing my hearing. They wanted to break my nose, put tubes in my ear. They couldn't tell me what was wrong with me. And I remember going to Sedona to try and work on this relationship. And they could not believe that I was alive, that I was standing there because they were doing all of this energy work. And they're like, how are you even here? But I was barely hanging on. When I got back home, I had gotten like a download. This is where you need to go. You need to change your life. And I did. I went to go see an individual who actually helped me save my life. And I knew, though, at that time, no doctor could help me. They didn't know what was wrong with me. There was no one outside of me that could help me. I needed the guidance. I needed the tips and the tools and the guidance, but no one could save me except for me connecting back to my higher self and back to the divine, back to the Most High. And it was this journey there of everything falling apart, me getting so sick. But there was this aha moment. And when I went and I talked to her, I was like, I think there's a curse on me. I am dying. Well, there was energy on me. We are energy. There were negative attachments that were literally, because the person I was with was there was addiction. So that's an empty vessel, right? When you drink, when you do things like that, or you have many different vices, you become, and you're very wounded on the inside. You don't work on that, it festers, it manifests. And so I was not connected, and it was attaching to me, and I was getting sick. So I needed to be completely transformed. Basically, the first thing she said to me was go home and pray, build an altar, which I call, what we call a boveda in being a spiritist, a spiritista. And you better believe I put what I had together, and she goes, you better pray to God, start praying. I did. And she told me exactly what to do. And I started it. And what ended up happening, and then I got cleansed. We had to do massive cleansings. And I learned all of this stuff. But I'm going to tell you, when I was so sick and I was on the ground and I could not be that mom I wanted to be, and I had realized that I had lost myself, and I had to come back and take my power back, it shifted everything from not being able to walk to throwing up blood, not being able to eat, losing. It was like I have pictures. You could see the transformation and the healing that occurred. And that's what I try and teach people. It's like, you can do it. You absolutely can. And you have a support system around you, like rooting you on. And what was really interesting, though, is when I was making those shifts, whether people want to call it the universe, the Most High, whatever it is, your guardian angels, things started being removed out of my life. And if I didn't let them go, it was going to be hard, because I was seeing like it was almost like more challenging. It's like, Molly, let it go. Let it go. Because you want to hang on. You got to let it go to make room for what really, truly is your essence. Because I would not be here. So I was very sick, you guys. Very, very sick. But with what I do, and I'm not saying it happens necessarily overnight because it's going to be different for everyone, but what it does take is discipline, and it does take a regimen, and it does take consistency, if that is a part of your path. And it's been a part of my path to stay in alignment with my journey. So that way, also, so I can give back to people and teach them if they want to learn it. Not everybody wants to be disciplined on the path. They want other people to do it for them. And that's okay too. But my aha moment was I was going to die unless I changed. I had my whole life.
And that's beautiful that, how you came about to today and didn't, let it beat you down and win, that you just simply turned it over and
Yeah.
been provided for. And that's one thing that it's like I always have a hard time with when people will say to me, how are you doing this or that with the life that you've done? Is I go, I don't, it's like, I don't know. I just do because it's something like you're saying, you turn it over and you just take yourself out of the equation, so to speak, by not being emotionally attached to outcomes and you're not
Mm-mm.
focused on certain outcomes. You are just in a pure moment, just being. And it's like this spark ignites and just goes. And it's like, I can't explain how to do that because it's different for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And mine wasn't as, you know, I don't want to say the word dramatic because that has its own connotation, but not drastic, I guess is a way to put it, of, being literally on death's doorstep, literally.
That's, yeah, what we would
I,
call.
I've been close, but that's as close as I needed to get. And so that's the beauty of, too, why I think our friendship is the way it is because we have similars, but we have differences.
Mhm.
But the differences are just a mere perception because they're really similarities, but we just look at them differently. And so it's like that's really the same thing, but it's not, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm so open minded. That's why I was talking about judgment. Like, everyone's got their own path. We're supposed to be different. We've all been through storms. We just need to know that we're not alone. And the journey and how we heal and how we get through it could be different for everyone, but we need to be able to hold space for people because our journeys are different. And it is all about perception. It's the lens. Um, but and I am going to say this because this is really important, is literally believing and having faith. That is so important. There were times where, you know, we didn't know where we were going to go, and we were homeless. We were getting food from the church, and I'm like sitting there, like manifesting my business, like still making the jewelry, listening to frequency. Like, I'm like, I got this. I can do this. I have faith. I believe, like, we're going to be fine. Almost like delusional, but you have to be delusional. You have to put yourself in that space. Just be, just do it. Don't lose faith. You got this. And if you are on that journey, you're going to see that it will come, that will come into fruition. It did. And it continues to do so. We just have to, like, really believe it, really go after it. We cannot live in that pain and make that define us We can alchemize, we can transmute, we can change it. We have the power, and we're not alone. See, that's the combination too. We are so powerful, our spirit and what we have inside of us, but yet we don't have to carry it alone. We are not alone. We have a team. You met my team, some of them.
Yeah.
I heard some of them. They just said some of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I haven't met them all.
We're not
And
alone.
and another beautiful fact about that is being in the framework and everything that we've gone through. It's hard to talk to some people about certain things, and so it amazed me one day when we were talking, and I was like, you know me, I like to test the waters and like throw something out there and be like, okay, how did that land? And it's like, okay. And I was talking about a certain aspect of my life that I was finding out about around the same time that we met. And you were like, oh, that's so interesting. What do you remember? What do you know? And I'm like, I don't know. And I don't have my memories. And you're like, oh, don't worry about it. They'll be here. They're there. You just not time yet. And I'm like, and so I was telling her the story when I had cassette tapes of mediumship readings
Mhm.
that I had as a kid, and they went blank. And after 10 years, I just was like, apparently, I no longer need this message because they're still blank. And so I got rid of them. And it's interesting how that persona of information missing from my life is repetitive.
Mhm.
And so, where I'm going with this, though, is there were moments where I would just be like sitting down, and all of a sudden, like, my phone will go off, and I'm like looking, and I'm like, oh, it's Molly. Yeah, what's up? And she's like, hey, do you know like this program title? And I go, yeah, why? Someone's asking about it. Can you pop on my show real quick in the
Mhm.
audience
Mhm.
and explain it? I'm like, okay. And I'm like, the fact that it's like you would reach out and ask that was like really interesting to me, because I'm like, nobody really wants to discuss this, and yet here you are going, hey, join the chat room, we're discussing this, and I have no idea what's going on, and can you help out? And I'm like,
Right.
yeah. And so I would, and it was like so interesting, the conversation that unfolded from it. But at the same time, it was like one of those like symbolic, like feather in the caps of, wow, this person chose me of all people to answer this question and lean on in this moment for help. And I was like, that was so cool. And so it's been a mutual thing back and forth with
Mhm.
us, is we're both there for each other when we need to be. We don't have to talk every single day,
Well, you know me,
but
I don't talk to people every day. I'm terrible. I'm like,
so
keep
am
me
I,
a hermit.
actually.
Keep me a hermit.
But I mean, it's the fact that you had that innate ability to sense in people, and by in people, I'm referring to me and our experience of talking, that you knew I could answer those
Mhm.
questions. I knew enough to, be a source in the moment. And so that's what was really cool, is you know, could have just been like, oh, I don't know anything about that. Sorry, move on. But no, you decided to kind of get curious about it, and we talk about it now a lot, and it's like, yeah, it's become kind of part of our conversations is, hey, does this mean something to you? And I'm like, actually, yes. Or
Right.
if it doesn't, I'm like, no. But then we'll like talk about it, and it's like, oh wait, that does.
Yeah.
Not that original, but that does. And yeah, and so it's really cool how you can sense and
Mhm.
bring out in people stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I really believe in people and I really believe in their gifts that everyone has them. And um I like and we all have our own unique gifts. So like I knew with you, I believe in you. And I'm like, I know Michael can help, so I'm going to ask you because that's not my area of expertise. But I can sense it. So like I sensed and I knew just from our friendship, but I knew it'd be beneficial not only for you, but for many people who were there or the collective that was there, and for me that this would be something that would be so helpful. And so like I can sense things with other people, like through emails or just through a text. I can even pick up like what is the word ailments, like if someone has a heart condition I can
Right.
feel the heart pain. But like with you, it was like I knew that you would have knowledge to give that would be helpful, even if it was triggering to people. I knew that it was important. And we can't shy away from that. And if we don't know something as well, it's important that we acknowledge it because we all have shortcomings. And we reach out to the ones that have the knowledge so we can educate one another and help one another because we don't know everything. And they're, like you
Yep.
said, it's going to be in due time. Everything's going to come out at exactly the right time that it's needed.
And it was funny too, is because I was like, I remember going, and I think I wrote something like, okay. And then I showed up and I was like, hey. And the first thing your guest goes, oh, so you're Michael that knows about this. So I want to pick your brain. I'm like, okay. I'm like, nice to get to know everybody here real quick. I was like, way to go right into the fire's den. Okay, we're doing this.
I think that's awesome now.
But yeah, it was in a nice way. I mean, it's not like I was put on the spot and it's like, oh great, spotlights on me. It's like it was more of a, hey, you seem to have information, so hey, do you mind sharing? And I was like,
Hey,
yeah, okay. What's the question? We'll see.
that's how much I believe in you. I'm like, I know you can help. And I know that, and I know your heart, and that you were willing to do that, which was so cool. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and I remember too when it was over, I was like, I think I messaged you like 3 or 4 times. Hey, thank you for trusting me to do that. Thank you for asking me, and thank you for this. And it was just funny. And I will say, you have taught me the gift of gratitude because I would say thank
Oh,
you to people, and it would be like, and I could feel it being like, yeah, it's nice to always say thank you for this and that. But then through our friendship, I've
amazing.
learned that gratitude and appreciation are much deeper and have a much different
Oh my gosh, that's huge.
energy and everything. And so I'm like, yeah, and you kind of know where I'm going with this. Of
You,
doing this, we created our own language around it, even.
you know what, Michael? You have no idea how massive that is. You know, gratitude is love, gratitude, appreciation, appreciate love.
Yeah,
Yeah, we do. Um, the energy that it gives off, the frequency, the feeling. you're calling in more, but we have to be grateful for everything because it can be taken away. And I remember encountering somebody um, many moons ago, and I remember saying thank you and showing gratitude. And you know what this person said to me was, "Stop saying thank you. Can't you say something like nasty? Like, why do you have to be so grateful and say all these nice things?" This was an old timeline of mine with spiritual warfare and a group of people that I left behind. I looked at him and I was like, no, because I want to say thank you. It's kind of who I am. You know, it's like, this is
Yeah.
the way my mom always taught me this. My grandfather did. My grandfather was a light worker, and he wrote beautiful poetry and writings on him and source and I mean, I found this stuff and it blew my mind, but it's like, no, I'm never going to change that. And whether you like it or not, that's a piece of who I am. And so for you to say that to me, you have no idea how deeply I feel that in my heart. Thank you for saying that, because I really believe in it. I really do. When you operate like that, no matter what is going on in your life, you are going to see that there are people that come into your life like you who are going to show just as much gratitude for the being that you are or the energy that you give off. You're going to come into alignment with beautiful individuals and experiences. That's a big deal. Thank you.
You're welcome. And talking about like, why you're always happy. I've always been asked that myself, why are you always happy? And I'm like, well, because it's like the best way to live, but believe me, if you cross a line, you're
Mm-hmm.
not going to see the happy side of me, and you're going to be wishing for the happy side to be back.
You're
But
fine. Yeah.
it's, and it's interesting how I feel like because of the crucible work that we did and went through, it's, I almost want to say, impossible for our emotions to control us.
Mm-hmm.
That we are the ones who are controlling our emotions and what we feel. And I've often wondered, is that from, the crucible, or is that from the work that we do, that it's just kind of goes hand in hand?
This is
And
gonna.
then I'm like, does it
Mhm.
even matter?
It sounds really weird to me, but it's like, I don't know if it's from the crucible, from the dark night of the soul, if it's like, um, why did I hear a different breed? I don't know why that just came through, but there is
Oh,
something about
I
that.
can understand that part.
Yeah, yeah, there's something about that to where, not saying that, it doesn't, certain things don't trigger, of course, it's going to be for growth, but very, we do not let the emotions rule us. Now, there may be certain moments, um, but yeah, it could be a part of the work, part of the dark nights, the losses, the tragedies, um, and also what flows through us. Um, that could be it too. Also, the fact that we know how divinely loved and protected we are. I think it's a combination, um, because you get to a point where you don't let your emotions lead you astray. You can stay very balanced. Now, emotions are very important to feel, though, because without those emotions, you're not going to feel that desire, that passion, that excitement. So that's really important to tap into that and trust that feeling too. And then the emotions of what doesn't feel good for you, but you don't let it lead you. So yeah, I think that's interesting. I think part of it, I think it's pieces.
Yeah, and I think kind of an overall message of what I'm getting, if I was to say there is one in our episode tonight, is, whether it be a crucible or dark night of the soul or whatever you want to call it, it's not something to be feared. It's something that is transformative,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
I'm like getting the transformation of the visual of the caterpillar is you before you start. The cocoon is the dark night or crucible or however, whatever term you use. And when it bursts open, you get the butterfly, which is the new you. And I never actually thought of it that way. That's kind of an interesting way to look at it.
Looking at it. Yeah.
But I mean, and the fact that we are open with each other, I feel like is why this information comes forward, because we're not sitting there and going, well, I don't know if he believes this, so I don't know if he can help me with this. Instead, we just say, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm thinking. And I'm like, well, it sounds like this to me, and I'll put it through my filters and my experiences. And you're like, yeah, but, or sometimes you're like, actually, yeah, that is helpful. Yeah, that's, you're spot on.
Right.
And I'll always smile and laugh when I hear you say, "Oh my God, Michael, you are spot on." I'm like, because the way you're so enthusiastic with it, it's like I can't help but be like caught up in it and going, "Yes, I got one."
I think
But
that's really important about vulnerability. We have to be vulnerable, um, to ask questions, to get more knowledge, to add on to what you may already know, and then ask someone else their perspective or what they may know. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can see. You can get all these different layers. Yeah.
right, but I think we also, though, because we know each other so well and we can sense we've been through what we've been through, that it's okay to be vulnerable.
Absolutely.
We Now, would I, meet someone on the street and be like, "Hey, you know, Molly and Michael said we need to be vulnerable. Let me tell you this." No, I would never do that. You
Yeah,
have to resonate with someone and have a commonality to get that vulnerability, because if you open up to the wrong people, I am sorry to say there are people out there who will use
absolutely.
that vulnerability, and you will be
Been
up
there.
a creek without a paddle, or a creek,
Been
as
there.
Hogan's Heroes would put it. And
Oh
be
yeah.
sitting there saying, but wait, I'm doing what Michael and Molly said. No, that's not what we said. That's,
No,
you
that's why
know,
we like to take the power back. We are sovereign. We are powerful. We have a team. It does not necessarily include the people you see around you. Now, you have to, yeah, and you have to know the power that you hold from within and that you are never alone, that you are loved, right? Because when you are in dire need, or there are times, yeah, there are people that will use that. They will harm you and hurt you. That is real. That's why I feel like right now this is very important, Michael. People like you, people like me, people like many individuals that are now here who have been through that, who can give the individuals what they need to empower themselves. You have to discernment. Oh, thank you, Jason. Discernment. I'm not saying judgment, discernment, trusting, taking the time to feel, whether it's you meditate, you pray, you feel, you go inward, you pull. You have to use your discernment when it comes to situations, and trust your nervous system. Trust what you're feeling. Don't just blindly go after things, that can get you, it can get you in trouble. But then you learn from it.
hopefully.
Oh, I know I did. Never gonna happen again.
Yeah.
Uh,
But, a side effect of this, resonance and commonality that you can find is like earlier in the podcast when Molly was like, "Are you talking about handlers?" Well, there's a funny story behind that, and I'll share that with you all here. It real quick. Abridged version of it is so I have memories of being in programs where there are people that oversee people, and Molly kind of has been along for my journey of discovery of it. And so she'll find moments where she'll be like, this situation seems strange. So I'll get a text and she's like, hey, Michael, I need to talk. Okay, what's up? Well, I experienced this. Is that a handler? What's a handler?
I'm
You can't
inquisitive.
tell me about a handler. And it's like, the way she says it, it's like, this is a really, like, hard topic, but the way you're approaching it, it's like I just want to laugh and be like, "Oh yeah, it's like haphazardly make a statement, but it's like,
I think I had a whole group of them that I got
yeah,
to.
it's funny because the way it is presented, I know where she's coming from, and I know where this curiosity is coming from, and so it's like, yeah, I know it's a serious question, but her vocals paints a different picture, and so I'm like, yeah, okay, this is what they are, and she's like, I thought so, and I was like, yeah, I'm glad I could validate that for you, and I'm like, why are we talking about this right now? And she's like, sometimes she'll be like, oh, I'll tell you about it later. I'm like, okay, and
Oh,
we let it go, or she'll be like, well, because of this, and we're like, okay, so we'll go into it and be like, okay,
right.
yeah. But I think that's the other thing too, that with our resonance and our discernment with each other is we know when to push, like we know that there's something more going on and need to address, and we
Right.
know when there isn't, and so we don't, like, just say, I'll never say to you, oh, you need to talk to me more about this. Well, that's not something you want to talk about. Well, why am I forcing it? We never do that with each other. We always are like, hey, oh, she's drinking Hawaii.
It's the Hawaii.
And
No, you're
that's the
right.
thing too, is you got to look at, if you're talking with someone, be it a therapist or a friend, if they're pushing you to talk about something you don't want to talk about,
That's right.
you really got to take a step back and be like, why are you pushing this? So why are you forcing this?
That's right.
Because I'm not ready, and for this healing to take place, I have to be ready. I have to be calling the shots, not you.
That's
And
right.
so that's what we're talking about with discernment and resonance, is you can't give your power away to someone because you think they're trying to help you. You have to
That's
always be in control of it, so to speak. And I don't use the word control often, but that's the only word I can think of that
But it's
fits.
true. You can't. People have to make their own free will choice, their own decisions. You can give them. Well, first of all, healing is a journey, right? Everyone has their own journey for healing. Um, you can give different paths, tools, and then it's giving them the ability to, number one, choose what resonates for them, what they feel is right in their spirit, their soul, and different choices so they can make the choice, because you don't want, we don't want to get in the way of their journey, but we want to inspire or empower or give them what they may need. Like when I'm channeling or doing things will come through. It's like they need this, or this needs to happen, and I give them the ability, I give it to them, but they have the choice. This is for you to do if you want to do it. This will work for you, but this is just a piece of the puzzle for you if you want it. because, our guides will come through. But yeah, it has to resonate for you. We don't want to give our power away. It doesn't mean that we don't have good individuals around us to help. Oh, crossroadsmeetsocean.com. Look at that. That's my website. Oh, look what you did. Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Look, thanks, Michael. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's been a journey.
I'm full of little surprises lately.
You should have seen the first website I built. Did you see the first one? It
I
was bad.
did.
It was
I,
so bad.
I remember calling you about it. And you're like, yeah, it's being redone, so just hold on. I know. It's like, okay.
You give me herbs, you give me a candle, you give me prayer, you give me, frequencies, like anything on the spiritual level like that, I can handle. Some cards, other divination, but when it comes to website building, I'm not the one to come to. But see, this was before my son decided to help. He's like, because he was doing his own thing, but I remember he looked at the website and he's like, "Oh my gosh, mom, this looks like a fake website or from like the 1990s or something." I'm like, "I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't even know barely how to use a computer. So
Yeah.
I am not tech savvy." So yeah, we had to rebuild it. I didn't realize how bad it looked because really I stayed away from technology. I was out playing with Mother Earth. So
Yeah.
and spirits. So
Yeah.
but no, Michael, I'm so grateful for you. And, you've been there for me on my journey too.
Yeah, we kind of stumbled on each other randomly, and
Nothing's random.
well, I say randomly because it was like I don't even remember how our paths crossed, but they did.
LinkedIn.
That's right.
LinkedIn. Yeah, I remember.
And so yeah, and it just goes to show, life happens and unfolds in the mysterious ways, and if you're open to it, you can have great experiences. And I remember when you first asked me to be on your show, Walk in Faith, I was like, this is, I'm like kind of excited because I'm like, I don't ever really talk about metaphysics much. Everybody always wants to talk about the paranormal. And so I was like, this is going to be different. This will be cool. And I don't know what this is going to look like, but okay.
Lights flickered.
And so, it's fascinating to me how it gets to break open the shell because I could easily hang my hat and say, yeah, paranormal.
I love paranormal. I love all.
Metaphysics is, its own thing. Paranormal is its own thing. But in talking with you, I'm like, I learned to merge the two and that it was okay to do that.
Why does there have to be a division? There shouldn't. Why there is no division? Everything truly is connected. At least in my world, Molly's world.
Oh,
That may not make sense to people, but it's all connected.
yeah. And just so y'all know, in total transparency, she really does have a love of the paranormal and has asked me numerous times when I go on an investigation to invite her along. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm working on trying to find, time where we're both available. And I will tell you, Molly, the one experience I had in San Antonio, I will be going back. And it would be I'm wanting to talk to my friend to see if you could go along because as much as I've experienced there, I would love to see what you experienced there.
I would love to. I'd be all like praying for you guys to ascend, like prayers for you, bringing my holy water, all my stuff. Oh, it would probably be a different experience with me because the way I
Oh,
work with the paranormal is so different. It's all about love for them, praying for them, their ascension, like cleansing and clearing. I don't know what it
See,
would be like.
and what's interesting is, I'm picking a spot that normally would not be for a first timer in the field. Is I'm talking about the how do I describe it now? We used to call it the haunted forest. Oh, the dimensional forest. That's the new title for it. Is because you're in tune as much as I am, and so I'm curious because you don't have the filters of paranormal like I do, what your experience would be like walking through there.
Yeah. Well,
And
I don't fear anything. I mean, just because of what I've been through and what I've seen. I mean, I have seen very dark stuff. Um, but I feel like with what I do and what I've been doing for such a long time, I don't fear anything. So it'd be interesting. Yeah, I would
yeah,
definitely ask my guides before doing it and see what they say
yeah,
because it's like a team thing. But yeah,
it is. And it's funny because like somebody was asking me recently, hey, can we go? And I was like, you got to talk to him. He's the guy in charge. I'm just there.
right.
But you would probably be the one of the only few people that I would be like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And try to remember, and be like, if I could remember where it was, just go. But I'm like, no, out of respect to my friend, it's like, yeah, I want to go through him, but
Yeah, let me know, and I'll ask my guardian angels, and I'll ask my guides, and be like, should you know, because it is like I'm. It's not like I'm not making my own decisions, but I always ask and just pray over it and see what comes through.
yeah. Well, it's also good to know. It's good to ask because you know I have
Right,
since 2018, 2019 been doing this, so I've been exposed to a lot of things.
very
And
important to ask.
so I have, a different mindset approaching it to where if I was fresh out of like boot camp, so to speak, would I be going there? Probably not
Right,
because not in the right mindset. And it's really that's what the key to all of this is, it's a mindset.
yeah,
Metaphysics, paranormal, spirituality, faith, religion, all of it, bottom line, the core element of it really is your mindset. Because you can drop three people into a church, for example, hear the same sermon, and come out with three different answers as
of
to
course.
what they heard. Why is that? It's not because of we like to say, well, it's because of how they were raised. It's how they, you know, perceive everything. Well, your perceptions are based on your thoughts, which is your mind. So therefore, it's your mindset. And so a lot of people don't want to hear that because they like to think, oh, I like that comfort of if it goes wrong, I have a quote scapegoat and can say, oh, it's because of this,
Giving
and
away our power.
don't have to take responsibility. And what's really the empowering part is owning the responsibility and
Yeah.
saying, yeah, I stuck my foot in where I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. I never should have got involved in this and step back.
Mm-hmm.
That's the true power, not the, well, I stuck my toe in and so now I can do this and this. That's not power. That's just an event.
No, we have to take responsibility for our choices and actions. Just like my old relationship, I went against my own intuition and what my body was telling me. I literally ignored it and still went ahead and dove right in. I had to learn the hard way. But, you know, we do have experiences that are not pleasant, that can be very traumatic. But it's when we actually realize that we made the choice to do it, for the journey, and then we can take back our power and we can make different choices, rather than placing the blame out there, because we are not, we've talked about this before, we are not perfect, we have shortcomings, we are here to grow and evolve, and learn and experience things just as humans in flesh. um, we're here to have the human experience on planet earth, and we literally chose every single relationship, every single place we were going to live, every single thing. I mean, I chose the relationships and the encounters I was going to have. Whether I like it or not, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, well, if I chose this, Molly, what am I going to learn from this situation? What am I going to do different? Because I don't want to do that again, or that doesn't work for me. So it's like we have to really take back our power in the decision making and our thoughts. Our thoughts do create our reality. I know this. Oh, I've seen it. It's so cool. We can, if we really did take back our power and we took control of like whether we thought what we thought and what we felt, it would be so unbelievable to see the transformation that would occur in people's lives, even in the darkest moments, even when we can't see what's in front of us. That's actually something I want to start teaching people too, because I've experienced it so much lately, um, that eventually that's going to be like a course or something that I put on the website, because I want to give people uh, the not only the hope, the faith, the knowing, but the ability or the tools that they need, because they're going to see a shift and they're going to be blown away. But they just have to be consistent with it, because I saw it literally within the last 48 hours of my life. Something massive shifted, which we'll talk about another day. But not just, and this isn't going to just help me, it's helping my kid, it's helping many people. Um, and it's all because of um, that faith, that knowing, the shift. So,
No, that's beautiful. And, I had a shift like that before to where I woke up and, we grew up with sayings like, dream the impossible dream, dream, the
possible.
inevitable dream, and
Right.
perfection. And they're like, perfection's a word that's thrown out, but everyone's always, it's an impossibility. And I woke up one day and was like, perfection is possible. I figured out what
Without
perfection
perception.
is. And what it was is one day I just woke up and I was like, I'm going to hypothetically use Molly for this example.
Oh,
And
oh
it,
God.
it's it's not true. I'm just using it as an example, so don't read into this, people.
Oh God.
But
Okay, go on.
so if I was to say Molly's perfect,
Mm.
she is the embodiment of perfection, people would be like, oh, she's a model, she's this.
Oh, right,
No,
right,
that is something society tells you that's not real, because models are painted or airbrushed, that's the word.
right,
And so that's not even a reality. What it is going and looking at the person in front of you and going, you have these flaws.
hmm,
You have these factors and aspects about you that, most people may not like, some people do, but to see that as a whole and go, I'm okay with that. That is you, and that
right.
is so. Therefore, by you being that, you're being perfect. It's the ability to see someone flawed and be able to look beyond the flaw and not have that flaw define them is what I was
Right.
shown. That's perfection. Like our desktops and tabletops we think are perfect.
They're not
Put them under a microscope
real.
and they are jagged little edges that could cut us up. But
Right.
because our perception says it's perfectly smooth, we don't get cut by it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, a gift that I got, and it like really opened my eyes to, a lot of the things that we thought were impossible because nobody can define, nobody can be this. Wait a minute, yes, we can. So if perfection is now on the table, what else is? And that's the kind of
Well,
unfolding, and that's what we're talking about is, you start to see the world differently,
mm-hmm.
start to understand it really for what it is, and you start to realize like I could easily go and to someone and say, well, you're this, you're that. Yeah, okay, well, that's it. Just, and it's like, what's the point? But if I can go up to someone and go, you're this, you're that, but you're also more. It's like they're like,
Yeah.
wow, I'm being seen. And that is, I hate to say this, guys, but when women say, I want to be seen, it's not, they don't want you to look up off of your screen or from a book or the TV set and say, yeah, your hair looks nice. Oh, that outfit looks nice on you. That's not being seen.
Mm-hmm.
What's being seen is you're seeing them for their whole self, everything in that single
Right.
moment.
Too. I have to laugh.
And a lot of guys have asked me, how am I friends with so many women and get along with them? It's, I will say, the ability to see them is a major facet,
Yeah.
and not judging them based on what I see and going, oh, that part's not cool, but that part is, and being like, well, I'm going to pick and choose which parts. No, you gotta, it's either an all or nothing.
Yeah, you
And
just pick and choose. We're, we're, we're pretty complex, fascinating, fabulous beings. I feel like we all are. Um, Women especially, my gosh. The depth, uh, the emotion, the the intuition, the sensuality, the shadow, the rage that's been suppressed, the voice that's been suppressed, the power of manifestation, the nurturing, the loving. Um, it's been lacking for a long time being seen or being held. That feminine energy, they're very powerful. We all have it in us. But I feel like just we chose, okay, so we're all energy, right? But we chose to incarnate here. I chose to incarnate as a woman in this life. You chose to incarnate as a man. So, how are we going to heal those parts of us to be the best woman for me that I feel I'm supposed to be and the best man? Things have been very distorted, very imbalanced. Um, and so since I chose to incarnate as a woman, I want to embody the best divine feminine that I can. Yes, I have the divine masculine in me. I can be masculine. I can go after what I want. I can build, I can do. Does that mean I always want to be in that masculine energy? No, because in my old relationship, I was over giving. Thought I had to be perfect. Give, 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 give. Right? That's actually the masculine. The masculine is one who is supposed to give to the feminine. The feminine is supposed to birth and create and multiply with her magic what the masculine gives to her. And if he treats her like the goddess that she is, you better believe that he will be so full of plentiful blessings that will be bestowed upon him. But see, it's been opposite. They're sitting there waiting. That's why everybody's single too. They're like sitting there waiting. I'm not going to chase a man. There's no way. I can be in my masculine very easy, but where am I going to put that energy right now? That's into building my business, right? But I'm not going to do that. There's no way. I did that and it almost killed me because that's not my natural state of being. It drained my life force. I was sick. No, you give. We multiply like this beautiful, not just a rose, but you're going to get many roses, but you got to take the thorns too with it. Can't just pick and choose the roses or the fruits, because it's a process. But, when people start to realize that, why did you come here? What do you want to give? What do you want to receive? And then we give to each other. Not saying like we're not going to give to the masculine. No, but imagine what blossoms from that nurturing energy when a masculine sees the feminine. They can hold the feminine. They can love the feminine. My dad was very masculine. He didn't want to mess with his family, but he was so loving and nurturing to my mother. He went with her everywhere. He would like open the door for her. He'd hold her purse for her. This masculine man had no problem being there for my little mom because she was littler than him, and he held her. He saw her. He was with her, and it's being there for one another, that companionship through the darkest times, not hurting one another, and when you can't get, because I would overgive, and when I couldn't, it was devastating and heartbreaking. So, we need to really step into who we came here to be during this lifetime and be there for each other. It's not competition. We actually complement one another. But I know for me personally, when I was in that over giving, it was like depleting my spirit so drastically. Like I would never do that again. And now I give to myself, and anyone who comes into my life, they give to me, I multiply, I'm going to give back. And I've seen it firsthand happen. So hopefully people will start coming together and realizing that we really do. It is that beautiful balance of the masculine and feminine, not only within ourselves, but within the unions. So I got really passionate about that. That may
Yep.
trigger some people, but
No, I'm loving it
44,
because
144, 14, it was on the clock.
we talk to each other and we kind of we'll talk about sometimes how we're in sync and everything. I literally was holding for you to finish to talk about balancing the two that both are in, and I'm like, gosh, you just literally just laid it out there. I don't have to say it
Really?
now. And we do this a lot. We will inevitably share each other's thoughts and be like,
That's
I
your
don't know
soul
how we're
tribe.
doing it, but we're doing it.
Soul tribe, soul family. Um, yeah, very cool.
Yeah. And I am realizing it is an hour and 45 minutes of
It is.
show, and I know you have work to get to, and so
You.
I definitely will say we need to continue this on another episode.
I would love.
And personally, at this point, I don't care which show it is. You're welcome on both of them anytime you want.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much. And you're
And
welcome on mine when I do them again.
I'm looking forward to that. And
Yeah.
I even look forward to the lives.
Yeah. Thank you.
And
Well,
so I want to end with a message for you.
for me?
For you.
Okay.
From my heart in the heart of my shows, thank you for what you're doing for humanity.
Oh
It's
my God.
seen, heard, felt, and appreciated loved.
Oh, thanks, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you for being you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you for having me, and to your whole beautiful community, collective, your shows, and just being in my life. Thank you for that. That means a lot to me. I'm so grateful. Here we go with grateful to be able to be here and, assist in the way that I can. So thank you for seeing that. I appreciate love you too. I appreciate love you all. Thank you.
And fun little fact is, I actually can't use that word with anybody else.
I know.
I went to try and it just didn't feel right, so I backed it out and was like, appreciate you.
Yeah.
That's why I deem it our special language between us that we form. Like
Okay.
it resonates with us.
Yeah. Well,
But
thank you for holding space for me. Thank you for seeing me and being here and um, having me on your show to share. And
yes,
as a friend, thank you, Michael.
yes, and you'll see that normally I don't do this, but I put a banner of her website, both of her YouTube channels
Thank you.
across the screen. So do go like, subscribe, and follow her channels. And I will reiterate, using a big word there. If you are interested in quantum healings and different energy healings, do check out her channel Walk in Faith on YouTube. She has a lot of different options of quantum healings that you can listen to, from an hour to 3 hours. I think I saw one is, and I was like, good Lord, I don't know if I could stay awake for 3 hours
You can
listening
sleep with
to
it. You can sleep with it. I sleep with it.
this. But
Good.
so yes, do follow
Good
her.
Lord.
And
It's
I
always
also I do have a second message for you. I know it's early, but I want to make sure with everything that's going on that I don't forget this important message for you.
what is it?
Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, my gift from God. His birthday is actually on the 21st of this month, and he's going to be 22. I cannot believe it. So thank you so much for that. Greatest gift. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Michael, so much. Thank you, everyone. Sending you so much love.
Yes, and same to you. And oh, Jason says Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, Jason, so much. Thank you.
And so do follow along my channels, because you never know when Molly might be making an appearance, or I making an appearance on hers. Sometimes I
Right.
share them on these channels. So keep an eye out and have a wonderful week. And we will see you guys on the next episode. And with that, I am going to say good night to everyone. Have a blessed one, everyone.
Bye, guys.